We'll open up to questions in advance of our spring game on Saturday.
Okay, well, day 14, so, this is our last, we saved this day, last day in shorts, day where we get a little bit of work done, cleaning up some things from our last scrimmage, but also, we take some time on this day to try to prepare them for what the expectations are in the summer. When they get into skills and drills, because there are certain periods we can get on the field with them in the summer, but we can't do anything competitive or nothing against anybody. It just has to all be individual and on air. So the leadership will kind of take charge of the skills and drills. So we kind of spend some time, take part of practice to really coach them on, what that looks like, what the expectations are. And so it's always a part of this day. And then we split the team. And everybody's you gotta have some time to make sure everybody's organized, because now you're not one team, you're two teams. And so we got the orange team and the white team. Coach Goodwin and Coach Riley will be the two head coaches, and got everybody split up. So, let's pick a side and pack the valley, right? That's what we've been talking about. And I will say this to our fans, man, I really hope they'll show up and we'll have a great crowd. And it's free, but it is a very meaningful opportunity for us as a program. And our fans always show up, but I just, this team in particular, we got 16 mid-years, and this is the only opportunity we have. There's no preseason for us. There's no exhibition games. There's no jamborees. There's no scrimmages against other teams. This is the only true opportunity that we have to create a game feel. And for a lot of these mid-years, this is a big moment, because, the next time they actually play, it's going to be, the scoreboard's going to be lit up. And so this is a great opportunity to try to, hopefully create that game feeling for some of these guys. And then we got some guys that are getting a lot more opportunity as your team changes every year and you start over. So it's going to be a great day. I think it's going to be maybe 60 or something, a little cooler early, and beautiful sunshine day. So hopefully we'll have a great crowd. We got a lot of recruits coming, a lot of families. So man, let's pack that thing and let's make it a great day. And I think it'll be a very competitive day. But really proud of the guys and our staff. I think we've had a good spring. We want to finish well, and we want to create good momentum into the next phase of our year and our journey. It's what we call transformation, and so that starts right away. We'll start all of our exit meetings Monday. That'll probably take me 3 or 4 weeks to get through all the meetings with the players, and certainly the position coaches will meet with their group. And so a lot of information that we we will discuss and talk about, and make sure we're all on the same page on what everybody needs to do to come back and not pick up where we left off, but to be ahead. That's what transformation's about, and everybody being committed to coming back, and wherever they are in our program, just being the best that we've seen them. And if everybody does that, then hey, you got a chance to get off to a great start. So we got a lot of work done, and I think big picture wise, leadership, chemistry, confidence, getting some evaluation on some guys that we need to evaluate in competitive environment. We've been able to do a lot of that, and we're still not a complete team. We've obviously had some guys that have had some surgeries and things like that have been in and out of camp. We've got some more guys coming in June before we're truly a complete team, but it's good to be able to wrap it up this weekend. And then we've got, that's one of the reasons we try to go early. We don't like to finish too late in April, because we get out early. May 1 is the week of finals, and if they have finals, sometimes they don't have finals, or they do them early or whatever. But so it gives us a good 3 weeks of really good training. Strength conditioning, creating momentum into the summer, which is the most critical time, and so as opposed to going later and having a little longer winter, you get more time to get some guys back. Obviously, we've done a couple of cleanup type surgeries, and we time those to where we know the guys will be ready to go once we get started in the summer. So team-wise, like what I've seen. And same thing with our staff. I think our staff has got good chemistry, and we've gotten done what we needed to get done. And you always wish you had a little more time. You hate it when it's coming to an end, but they're going to be a fun day on Saturday, and then we'll take the next step.
So usually the coordinator percent behind the offense or the defense, and now that they're head coaches, how do you kind of divide that up with play calls?
Yeah, we've done it differently over the years. I prefer to split the team and split the staff because I think it's good for your staff development too. But sometimes, like last year, for example, obviously you got a change in coordinator, so Garrett kind of went back and forth. But we'll split it up this year, completely split it up, and we'll have we got enough staff to where everybody, and then we got some injured players will be coaches as well, and got some honorary coaches coming back. We got Gary Peters, big GP, who's still playing. He's still playing up. I think he might be the best DB up in Canada. He's playing. DJ Reeder's coming back. He's going to be one of our honorary coaches, and hopefully Sammy Watkins is going to be back as well. So he's still trying to work it out, but I'm really, really excited about the day. But Garrett will call it for one side, Kyle will call it for the other side, Wes will call it from one side, Mickey will call it. So we got plenty of coaches, but it's a good opportunity. We split up Nick and Chris, so everybody's got a good feel for it on how we want to do it. And there might be a couple of players that have to flip both ways. For example, like Trent Pierman, we got 3 quarterbacks, so Trent will probably Paul's practiced all spring, but we're not going to play him in the scrimmage. But he'll be a coach on the other side. But Trent will probably get. I think we settled on maybe every third series for both teams, so he'll kind of go back and forth. So he gets the work that he needs, and all 3 quarterbacks will get the reps. So it'll be a good day.
I guess who were some of the other injured players that you think that would be starters that are not going to participate?
Oh man, I don't have my sheet in front of me. You got Jay Lou, has been out all spring. He's doing great, but we had to do the surgery on him beforehand, so he'd be ready for the summer. We got we got a pretty good healthy list. Cole's not going to be able to play. Adam's back. Cole's not quite ready. He's a lot better. He's kind of got a strained ab, but he's not quite ready. So, he had a really good start to spring, a very good first scrimmage, and strained his ab. So he's not quite ready to go. I'm just thinking offensively. Walker Parks is back, but he's not going to scrimmage. So he's been able to get second half of spring here. He's been able to get most all the team stuff and individual stuff. Same thing with Ronan O'Connell, young freshman. He's coming off of surgery from high school, but he's been able to get out there and get some individual stuff. He won't be able to go. Receiver-wise, Tyler Brown is not going to play. He had the foot surgery. He's doing great. He's got an individual. He's running routes, but not released to go play. Stellato had a really good, he got 10 or 11 practices in, and that was by design, because he's really never had a spring or a fall camp for that matter. So it was important, we thought, for him to get the work. So then we just went ahead and cleaned up his shoulder, so he'll be ready to go for summer and have a full summer as well. Everybody else offensively, Jay Haynes is not going to be able to go. He's a lot better, but he's still recovering from a hamstring. Who am I missing? You got the injury part. That's offensive guys. Defensively, Peter Woods is got mono, so they're not going to let him play. He looks great. He feels great, but when you have mono, you got there's a time period, I guess, with your spleen maybe or something. So you got to be smart with that. So he's not going to be able to go. Burley's out. He's battling a hamstring. Anybody else you want to ask me about? Strozier's back. Excited to have it. Corey and Gibson is who's been out all spring. He's coming off an ACL from his high school. He looks great. He's doing all the individual and team stuff, but he can't play, but he is back in practice, so that's been good progression for him. but Strozier's good to go. Venables is out there. Trying to think who else. Ricardo had a good spring. He had a little bit of a fracture in his foot, which they think was there for a while as well. So they fixed that. So he's out for the game. And so that's about it. Should have brought my injury report in here. Y'all challenged me off the top of my head here. I think all the backers are good as far as injury goes. I think that's it. Noble, that's one I forgot. Noble's been out all spring. You know, he's not cleared yet. He's better. He's getting better, but he's not been able to practice all spring.
Has Jay Haynes been out all spring?
Well, he started out, going and just pulled his hamstring in mat drills, and then just wasn't able. He tried to go, and he just wasn't able to really get past about 70% early. So they just been really trying to build him up and be smart with him. And I hate that for him because he really needed the work, but it is what it is. We need him come August.
Well, you mentioned evaluating players in a competitive environment. So who are some of those players that you wanted to see more see them play in these competitive environments?
Well, I think we have guys at every position. Our quarterback's number one. I really needed CV to get a ton of reps. He really hadn't had hardly any reps. Once we got to the season, he hardly had any reps, mental reps. And we needed him to be mentally ready to go, and we gave him a little bit of scout team here or there, but he really mostly, was just watching and doing some things on his own. So he needed to get a ton of competitive work, and it was good to see that. I think he's made big strides. I'm really, pleased with his development. Same thing with Trent. He needed a ton of reps. He's got them. So I feel a lot better right now than I did, in January, just because I knew what we needed to go do, and, you just need to see it. So I've seen what I need to see as far as the guys in that aspect. And then we got a lot of new people in that offensive line, Elijah Thurman and Mason Wade and Zach Owens. And, these are guys that, we needed to really see take another step. And then some guys in new roles like Ryan Linthicum, he's out there battling for a starting job. And it's a much bigger spotlight than what he's had. How's he going to handle that? How are we going to compete? Obviously, the work with Peter Woods, and training him at end, that's been, a big part of what we needed to get done. Some of these young linebackers, D. Creighton, Jamal Anderson, Kobe, Sammy Brown coming in here early, exposing all those guys. The young tight ends, Olsen, Marcus Dixon, Sapp, Wesco is a young guy coming in here. We need to see him. How's he going to handle it? How's he going to respond? What's it going to, there's just a lot of things that you have to go through the process to get an answer for. Our kicker, Hoosier. Is Jack Smith going to take the next step? So lots of areas that we needed to see development, growth, and competition. A guy like Strozier, I know he's missed some, but getting him back out there and the work that he's been able to get. Seeing AV and Shelton, seeing Tavoy, growing him up as a young player, all those young safeties. So, you just got to go play. There's going to be a lot of mistakes when you get into spring, when you're repping 3 groups, and in some cases 4. It's not always going to be perfect, but you have to be able to play. It's like minor league baseball, right? Like, you got to have games. That pitcher needs batting to line up to bat against, or maybe there's 3 guys out there that got a shot at the major leagues, but you need them other guys to go play too, right? And so you have to create these, and with that, you're going to have some mistakes, and sometimes it looks good, and sometimes it doesn't. But that's how you get your guys better. You got to expose them and get it all on tape and teach. That's what we've been able to do this spring.
Talked a lot about through spring practice about what you've seen through the plethora of running backs that you have in your room right now. What do you expect to see through the spring game out of your rushers that you have playing?
I think we all know who Maffa is, so I don't think there's nothing there that I really need to see. But it's exciting. I hate it for Jay Haynes because he's a guy that I really think is going to have a great opportunity to help us. But man, it's fun. This is a great opportunity for Jarvis, for Keith Adams, for Easy E, for Strecco. These are great opportunities. You got some young walk-on guys like McNeil and Rigby that don't get to play much but get opportunity to maybe get in there, and so it's big. Same thing I think we all know about Brenny. I think we got a pretty good feel for him. But man, now all of a sudden you got Olsen and Marcus and Sapp and Banks Pope, and it's bigger roles for those guys. And how are you just fun to be able to see them have to go play and have to take another step, and you really have that all across the board, especially when you try to split the team up. You get thin in some areas, but it'll be a good opportunity, for these guys to finish the spring well and take some hopefully some confidence and momentum into the summer.
How much separation is there between Adams, Haynes, Easy?
Yeah, well, Haynes, I can't really put him in the mix yet because he just hadn't. I mean, I know what we've seen in camp and what we saw early part of the season, and then he had the ankle sprain and the hamstring and then the recurrence. So it's hard to put him in there. But the guys that have been out there, man, Keith Adams has really taken a big step forward this spring. I'm really proud of him. He's different. I mean, he's a different guy, and he's hard to tackle. I mean, he's faster than you think. He's a little more athletic than you think, but you better have your big boy pads on when you come to tackle him because he is. I didn't get to coach his dad, but I would say he probably plays running back the way his dad played linebacker. I mean, that's just kind of that's the best way I can describe this kid. He's just hard to tackle, and his confidence has grown this spring. And with his when a guy starts to figure it out, they just play faster and they play with more, and you just see it. And I just think his knowledge of the game, and as his confidence has grown, his talent has shown through. So I think he's done a great job. Jarvis has taken full advantage of his opportunity as well. And I've said this many times about that kid. He's a very natural runner, and he does there's really nothing he doesn't do well. Like he's just natural at everything he does. And then Easy E, I think it really, really fast early, a lot. But the pace of spring is good for a guy like him. It's not like every day fall camp when all of a sudden you just, by about day 8, you just are overwhelmed. I think he's had some overwhelming moments, but then the schedule of the spring has allowed him for things to slow down a little bit, and it's been good for him. He's strong, he's fast. Strecco's a kid that's got some ability as well. So I mean, it's been good. It'd be fun to watch them, split them up, and let them go play. And I think we've got a lot of guys in the offensive line that have flashed as well. So really at every position. I hate we won't have Cole or Stellato out there or Tyler. That's 3 pretty good players. But it's a great opportunity for those other guys. Like a Tink, like a Ronan, Hannafin. It's good to see him have a chance to go start in a game like this. This is a big opportunity for him, and a lot of confidence can come from that.
How's the kicking competition been shaping up?
Kind of steady Eddie. They're both kind of right there. I can't really say one guy's said, "Hey, I'm the guy." They're just kind of right there. Robert's probably been a tad more consistent, but not a lot. They're both right there together.
Where's Savoy right now going into the summer?
I think he's in a good spot because, man, he doesn't even know how valuable the experience that he has gotten. I mean, all the way back to bowl prep. The experience he got there, just the learning curve that he's been able to go through. That'll pay off big for him when he comes back and he takes it into the summer. But he's already bigger and stronger, first of all. So just being in the program has been a benefit to him from that standpoint. But I just think he just knows a lot more. Like his foundation in June as if he was just showing up here in June is going to be way, way further ahead than it would have been if he'd have shown, if he didn't come in January, really for the bowl in December. So going to be a good player. He's talented. Still got a ways to go, but, I mean, I think he's progressing.
Has anybody started to maybe separate themselves as center in that competition?
I think if we played today, Ryan's running out there first. I don't think there's any question about that, but we don't play today, and we got a lot of work that needs to take place between now and August. And, as I get into my individual meetings with all these players, there's certain things that I just want to see from every single player. And regardless of what your status on the team is right now, whether you're the first guy out there or whatever, that's not a lifetime contract, right? Everybody's got a lot of work to do this summer. And he's a guy that I think he's come out of spring first, by a little bit. I think Trent's right there, and I think Harris is coming. I mean, Harris is the biggest thing with him is just regaining his confidence with the snapping, and he's really done a good job. First couple of days, I think he was a little erratic, but now I don't notice him anymore. And when if I'm noticing you at center, it usually ain't good. That's the position that I should only notice you when I'm seeing you finish some guy. If I'm noticing you for anything other than that, it ain't good. And so, because everything starts there, you have to have consistency there, and that's really what Harris, I think, has really done. So he'll get an opportunity. I think we're going to start him at center for one of the teams. So I think that's a good opportunity for him. We know Trent will start at guard. We know Trent got a lot of confidence in him at center. He'll play some center too, but Harris probably needs the most work in that role. So to answer your question is, to be continued. But Ryan, if we played today, he'd run out there first, and if he wants to stay there, then he knows what he's got to do between now and the summer because he can do it. But I want to see transformation in some areas of his commitment, if you will. I want his body to be in the best possible shape that it's ever been. So we'll see if he'll go put the work in, and if he does, I think we'll all like the result. He's certainly capable.
You guys talking about offensive line on a broader scale? You said a couple guys have flashed, and who were some of the younger guys or guys that were more down the depth chart that have kind of flashed?
I think he's not a young guy, but to me, a guy like Tristan Lee, from where he was 2 years ago to where he is now, it's just fun to watch. Same thing with Blake Miller. They've just come two very consistent guys, and I think Tristan he's kind of finding his voice and trying to grow into a leader. It's been good to have Marcus out there all spring. Same thing with Sadler. So I think, Sadler's still a young guy that's coming. Same with Harris. They're all progressing, but I think probably the ones that you're talking about is a guy like Zach Owens, a guy like Elijah Thurman, Mason. These are all guys that are coming. Chat Pendergrass, another young guy that's gotten a lot of work and a lot of reps. Dietrich's not a young guy. He still hasn't grabbed a first team role, but he's, I think, solidified himself as a guy that can help us. So that part of it is good. We'd all like to see him take another step, and that's really up to him because it's not a matter of whether he's got the talent, but he's got to go earn it. But all those guys, I'm not really disappointed in anybody. I think they're all progressing. We didn't have Watson Young out there. He had ACL surgery, so he wasn't able to get out there as far as another young guy. But Ian Reed, that's another guy. Ian Reed is a guy that missed a lot of time. So getting him out there, getting a lot of live reps against good people, getting exposed a little bit from time to time has been really good for him. So, that's probably the main guys.
Unrelated note, I'm doing a story on Blackman Huckabee and kind of his singing aspirations. Can you just speak to when you found out he has that voice and then kind of how that process went when he signed?
Yeah, I didn't know anything about it. One of the players was talking about he could sing and started pulling up TikToks of him or something. I don't Instagram or whatever of him singing in a mirror. Just a lot of I guess he would post a lot of stuff, and so that was the first time I saw it. Was when a couple of players showed it to me. We were just talking. I'm like, Huckabee, what? And I was like, wow, he's good. So then he actually was one of the kids that they brought in to speak to the staff during our all-in meetings. I kind of put him on the spot. And, I don't think he knew that I knew. And I said, hey, I hear you got a pretty good, let's drop a little Tennessee whiskey here. And he a cappella was really good. So from that point on, I think it's just kind of become a thing. And then he came to see me about trying out for one of those shows, because he had to miss a day of practice or something to go. I don't know if it was The Voice or American Idol, one of them, or maybe America's Got Talent. We got one of those, and so he went to go do that, and then because he was kind of hoping he'd make the cut, so we talked about some further, but he didn't quite make the cut, but he's singing national anthems, and I mean he's a neat kid. He's got a great story, a really really cool story. And he's a very committed guy, tough guy. He's had 1 million injuries. I mean, he's had some of the craziest injuries, but he's a kid that everybody loves having around. Great spirit.
Recruiting, a huge piece of your identity is kind of the exclusivity of a Clemson offer. It offers 70 kids a class, and everybody's throwing 300 out. You understand the substance why, but is there a story maybe on kind of how you chose to go in that direction?
I just think we know what we're looking for. We're not all things to all people. I think we've offered 55 or 56 kids so far in this class of 25. Our hit rate's really high. If we offer a kid, there's a good chance, we might get them. And, I don't know. I've just always wanted our offer to mean something. I've never really wanted to water our brand down and, offer kids that they're not even interested, and that's part of it. But I just think evaluation is key. Retention is key. Development is key. And, you win with people. And that's how we've won here. We've won with consistency, and we've won with those areas: evaluation, retention, development. And so we're usually done by August every year. We don't usually have maybe there's a random spot here or there, or somebody leaves that we didn't anticipate or know about yet, or a junior goes pro, whatever. And you kind of address that, but it's just. As we've had success and as our brand has grown and we've got kids that are interested from all kind of different places all over, I want our offer to mean something, and that's why we don't offer freshmen and sophomores. It's a developmental game. There's a lot of great players that have been here at Clemson that would have never gotten an offer as a 10th grader, because they weren't good enough. And wouldn't have got many offers from many places, but especially kids that are 14 to 18, and the transformation and the development happens there. So we just always wanted to be slow and right and fast and wrong. And, we've made some mistakes in the past, like anybody. You're never going to bat 1,000, but, we just think the biggest thing is we know the fit here. And, we know what we think is a standard at each position and what we're looking for, criteria, and we again our hit rate is pretty good.
You know what people see on the outside with recruiting, but is there anything that there are a lot of people that work behind the scenes, a lot of checkpoints that you guys have, just areas where maybe fans don't necessarily see or appreciate what goes all into recruiting for you guys?
Yeah, there's a lot. We got a huge staff from a scouting standpoint, and then just the recruiting aspect of it as well. Jordan Sorrells and Ty and Danny and Josh and Chanel. We got Zach Fulmer. I mean, we got a very thorough group that do an amazing job of supporting the coaches. And it's so much more than just the coaches. It's just very different than the way it used to be because everybody can recruit now. Used to the only person that could call a kid was the coach. And now everybody's involved. There's two things you got to do to work here. You got to be a thinker and you got to be a recruiter. If you ain't those two things, you're probably not going to make it here. Now everybody's got the rest of your job description, but those are two things that everybody that's everybody's job description. You got to be a thinker, you got to be a recruiter, and that's the lifeline of your program. So there's a lot that goes into it when it comes to evaluation, communication, how we go about our offer protocol. How an offer comes to be. We don't just throw them out there. We're very, very thorough in that process. I get a report every Tuesday of every kid we're tracking. I get a report on their social media, everything. I get it. I only look at one column, but there's the coaches kind of look at what they like and didn't like and retweeted or posted or whatever. I just go to one column and it says, questionable content. And, I'm just looking for a red yes. So, there's a lot of things that go into our process. Because, again, this has not been a catch and release place. It's not been our mode of operation around here. And I know that's, something that other people, and that to each his own. I just feel like when a kid comes here, it's our responsibility to graduate him. And he's going to have that opportunity to do that. I'm not going to fix mistakes, as long as the kid's a good kid, goes to class, he gives great effort, he tries, hey, it's till graduation do we part here. And it's just the way it is. So that's another reason why there's not many offers, because coaches know they're going to be held accountable. That's but that's also a two-way street. That's one of the reasons why you don't see, again, a lot of kids leave here without having degrees.
On that same note, other coaches have talked about how the recruiting landscape is changing, how it used to be more about connections and now it's moving more towards NIL and money. Have you guys dealt with any of that? And obviously you guys are a special place. Like how has that landscape changed for you guys? Oh yeah,
sure. Everybody deals with that. Honestly, it's made my life easier. It's made it a simpler process for us, and we don't waste any time in recruiting. It's pretty clear cut and up front who really aligns with who we are and who's looking for something different. And so the good news is there's a lot of great players out there and it's not that they don't want to do NIL, absolutely, but our NIL is for retention, not recruiting. That's how we've used it, that's been our approach, and so there's some kids that are just making a decision just on that, and that is fine. It's not to each his own. You don't judge people for what they think they want to do. But then there's kids over here that's important, but here's what they're really making their decision on, and that's the kids that come to Clemson.
Anybody else for Coach Swinney? Coach, before we wrap up with the All-In Ball on Friday, what has it meant to you to have your foundation have such an impact on the community since you've been here?
Oh, man. Hopefully that'll be my legacy. We've won a lot of games, and we're going to win a lot more games. But hopefully, when it's all said and done, we all talk about the dash, right? I know the day that I got this job, and right now there's a question mark on when it'll end, and eventually there'll be somebody else that'll be the coach here, and that dash will be complete, and everybody will talk. Well, hopefully that will be my legacy. Honestly, will be that we use the platform in a way to serve other people and to help the community. And man, this is a great week. I'm excited about it. I think by the end of this week, we will have given, $12 to $13 million away and we started in 2010. We raised $90,000 that first night, and hope to raise 1.5 plus to, Friday night. And it's been awesome. And just so thankful for all the people who help us serve the community, and use the platform that we're blessed with. Because certainly we don't have to do that. It takes a lot of time. We work all year on this foundation, but I just think it's a responsibility, because, again, we've been blessed tremendously, and we've been impacted by a lot of things, and to be able to use the platform to give back and to help other people, that's ultimately what it's all about. And, man, there's so many people that are a part of it. We've stayed grassroots. We've stayed community-based and purpose-driven. We have not changed one bit since we started this foundation. And there's a lot of people that really count on us big time to come through for them every single year. And, we have our focus areas. We call me Mr. and Clemson Life and the Family Effect and breast cancer. But, man, that grant program and all the people, almost 300 organizations that we gave a little over $1 million to in November alone, just November, that really, really count on us. And so Friday night's a big night. That's kind of the Super Bowl for the foundation. And we'll have a lot of former players there. A lot of our current players will come and support and give of their time. And our staff and some amazing people, our sponsors. It is awesome. Lexi is our one employee, and she does a great job. And everybody else is just volunteers, that help us. And, man, we've got, the Shepherd Hotel has been a title sponsor for us, and, man, Jersey Mike's has been unbelievable support, and we got a big announcement coming from them Friday night. WCCP, and what they've done every single year in their breast cancer month, and the money they've raised and supported the foundation. It's just been awesome, as well as people that. As we've grown, people give money year-round, whether it's in lieu of flowers or it's a tax write-off or whatever, and I really value their trust, and it's just a blessing to be able to, be the vehicle that can help other people, with whatever cause, whatever need that they have. And so hopefully, again, when my time is up here, for Kath and I, that'll be I hope that's what people point to as our legacy is, yeah, we won a bunch of games, but we built some great men. We built some great leaders through our program, but we also impacted the community, through this foundation.
Anyone else, Coach?
Coach Brownell was saying during the Elite Eight that maybe you had some dinner bets with other
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
You have to pay up.
Yeah, I'm going to have to. I got a couple of them. Robert Ory's one of them. Big Shot Bob. I don't know if y'all remember him, but we were freshmen together, and so we crossed up. So yeah, I got a lot of. I won't name all their names, but yeah, I got a few dinner bets. We'll have some fun with. But man, how about our basketball team? And I mean, I Coach Brownell and his staff. I mean, it was so freaking awesome to watch that. I mean, it was awesome, and we played our butts off. You got to give credit to Alabama. I mean, we picked a bad day to go cold at the free throw line, but man, we were right there, and I think the biggest, it's one thing to think you're good enough. It's another thing to know you are, and I think that will really just pay huge dividends for our basketball program. Similar to us in football. I mean, it's one thing to do something, like I said, to get to the Final Four and to play in that first national championship back in 2015, even though it didn't go our way, we battled and we competed. It just kind of changed things, because we thought we were good enough, but after that game, we knew we were, and we knew we could compete. And that is the type of fuel that you need. I see the same thing with our basketball program. Just super proud of those guys. I mean, what an amazing year for them, and a fun run. You don't get lucky. You don't get lucky and get to the Elite Eight. That ain't luck. That's elite. and I think they'll do a great job of building on that as they move forward. So really proud of all those guys, and I know a couple of those guys may have decisions to make, but it's been fun to watch them, go through their time here at Clemson.
Clemson University's sued the ACC. I was wondering, do you have any comment on the lawsuit on the matter?
No. Obviously, I appreciate your question. No, that's going to be a question to come, but man, that's so far out of my lane. That's PresidentClements.com and GrahamNeff.com. Or at AOL.com, however you want to get in touch with them, at Clemson.edu. They can answer all them questions. I'm just trying to. I know we got a season. That's all I'm focused on.